everyone, Melissa here and welcome back. So today I'm thrilled to be playing along with Scraptember by the Scrappy sisters and Laura Alberts, and the theme for today is family. And so I had a cut file in mind that I wanted to use from the Hip Kit Club, and in the end it didn't really go with the photo that I wanted to scrap, and I'll explain that a bit more soon. And so I, while I had the Hip Kit cut files open, I've saved a lot of them over the years, and I saw this one, Love Home Family. I think it's designed by Yana on the design team, and I had never used it before, and I thought it was perfect for the photo that I'm choosing to scrap. So before I get into the photo, I cut this on white cardstock, and I also cut it on this black text paper. I'm using my How to Colour Kit with Style kit for September, and if you go back to one of my previous videos, you'll see my kit share, and it features the Just a Little Lovely collection by Pebbles, and I probably have maybe just over half the collection or just under half the collection left to use up. And so I thought I'd cut it on the black and white, but then it got a bit lost, and I really wanted to use that craft and white polka dot background. I think it's very easy for me to gravitate to a white background with mixed media, and if I was to use the white cut file, I would gravitate to a white background with mixed media. So I decided to challenge myself. I've put clear gesso on that craft paper, and I was a bit disappointed because you can see it, and I've dried it off, and I'm building on top of it, but yeah, you can still see it today when it's dry, but it's okay. I mean, it's all part of it, isn't it? Things aren't meant to be perfect in our scrapbooking. So I wanted to provide sort of a background between the background and the cut files. I've put pop dots under the black and white cut file so I can lift it off the white cut file for some extra dimension. And then I just used some white acrylic paint here, which I brushed on. And then I'm using some Lindy's Magical Powders in, it's like a pinky colour, and painting it on. It's quite subtle, but soon I'm going to splatter it, and it comes up a lot more shimmery, I think, because I add a bit more powder, less water, to get a greater concentration. So I'm by no means an expert when it comes to painting on watercolour. I actually find that quite challenging. I can never make it look random. It looks too intentional, but I think because this is just going behind my cut file, it's adding something to break up the cut files from that craft background. And I think that maybe craft is making a bit of a comeback at the moment, because I've seen a few layouts with it, and yeah, I wanted to push myself. In this kit I've only got 2 full sheets of pattern paper left, and I definitely wanted to try and use them as a background, and this is the one that I wanted to use, definitely this side of it. So the B side is some tandem bikes, and I was never really going to use that for anything. So now I'm using, I think it's called Golden Sleigh Bells, and it dries into this beautiful shimmery gold. And so if you're looking for a replacement for the Heidi Swap gold colour shine, I think this would be a good option. So drying it off again, I love to dry off between my layers, and that just gets a beautiful, more clean effect. And yeah, I think I've said this before, but you end up with a little darker ring around each of the splatters. So I'm always in awe of anyone that can do a video a day for any amount of time, and I think to do a whole month is absolutely outstanding. So do make sure you go and follow the Scrappy sisters and Laura Alberts, and I'll have their links below. And I love that I think both of them have done this 2 years in a row, and yeah, it's just really awesome to see. And especially Laura is doing every single day. I think Jess and Katie are doing a day each, if I'm correct. But even that, I mean, even then, a video every second day is massive. So yeah, I love everything they create, and I love that they use their stash as well as more newer products. So here you can see on its own the white cardstock isn't that great. I'm just using the inner part as a stencil to put the eye on the dot on the eye of family. and I've got my frozen fruit as always, and soon you'll see that gets replaced with a cup of tea. So yeah, my photo I'll explain soon. This is a more difficult layout for me to make, and I'll tell you why. So the other cut file had 3 frames on it, and it said something like "Our Family." And I thought that an easy way out for me would have been to scrap 3 photos with all of us in the photos. I've got 4 kids, so, and my husband and I. That would have been an easy thing to scrap, but I decided to scrap a more difficult part of my family. Before I explain that, I'll just tell you here that I slightly offset the black and white cut file from the white one underneath, and I glued the white one directly flat to the background. And it's probably hard to see, but in real life, and I think at the photos at the end, it's easier. But you can definitely see that there's 2 cut files slightly offset. So I'm now using like the inner part of the black and white cut file as a stencil, and I was about to glue that dot directly on, and then I remembered that no, I need to put a little pop dot behind it to make it match the other black and white cut file, because I've put dimension behind that. So in real life it is quite dimensional. It just looks, I guess, very flush to the background on this angle. And also I have to say my camera angle is awful. I've got a new tripod and a new light and a new setup, and obviously I didn't check when I started filming, and what you can see to the left there is the edge of my table, and that's just my little craft cart, and it's dark because I filmed this at night. So yeah, it's a bit annoyed. The perfectionist in me was a bit annoyed to see this, but there's nothing I can do, and it is real life, isn't it? I mean, yeah. It's like if you were scrapping along with me here at my house, you'd see all of that. I'm actually kind of glad you can't see the mess to the right of the page though, where I've just got everything laid out. So here's my photo, and it's a photo of our family in peg people, and there's a New Zealand lady who was making these peg people, and you could pick the colour scheme, and I wanted rose gold and white, and she had lots of options, and you know, you get the boys and the girls and the mum and dad. And basically with our family, we've got 4 kids, but we have a 5-year gap in the middle. And part of the reason we've got that big gap is because we actually had a miscarriage quite early on in pregnancy with what would have been our 3rd child. And so when I was pregnant with that child, we both believed that it was a boy, and we actually named him Jackson. And yeah, so it was obviously devastating. Anyone that's been through that knows how devastating and what a horrible experience that is. And Jackson's always been a part of our family. And so our kids, we've told them about Jackson, and I got an angel baby to represent him in our family because he is part of our family. And all of our kids, even Ava, they know about Jackson. We've explained that they have a brother in heaven, and that we never got to meet him and we never got to see him, but yeah, that he's there, and he's definitely a part of our family. So when I got the peg people made, I didn't want to miss him out, and that was part of the reason I got them made, was like to remember him in a really nice way that's easy for the kids to understand. And so I took a photo of these when I got them, and I'm glad I took a photo because Ava loves to play with them and move them around, and some of the floral sort of flower crowns on the girls' heads have fallen off, and I've had to glue them back on. Ava's very much into touching all the things that the others don't at the same age. But yeah, so I have documented him before. I've done a page in my Bible. I'd have a Bible journaling Bible, like Illustrated Faith, but nowhere near as good. And I have documented that in there, but I've never put it into my scrapbooks. And so when I chose the prompt family, I actually chose it because I knew I wanted to use that other cut file. But then when it came to choosing a memory or a photo, I thought that this is the perfect time to document this. And so I think having it in our family album will be good. In the future, you know, grandkids or whatever can look in there and see that actually in our heart there's 5 children, and so I think that's you know, it's not easy to document, but I think I've shared about documenting grief before with my brother-in-law, that it's actually quite healing to document it. So yeah, I'm not going to say much more about it. That's being very honest with you. That's why I'm scrapping this photo, and why I've chosen to put it into our album. I do think it's important to scrap the not so great things as well, and I just want my family to have the full picture, I guess. I'm not saying you have to document all of your feelings, but some things in life aren't that great, and they still deserve a place in the album. So yeah, back to the layout. So I have to admit I'm struggling with my how to kill a kit with style here, because I don't think I've got enough embellishment in it, because I'm a heavy embellisher, and the a lot of the sentiments and die cuts or ephemera that I've got in this kit are related to things like weddings and card making kind of sentiments, like congratulations. Yeah, and that makes it quite hard. But I was thinking about it today, and I thought I could very easily just go into my stash and add a whole lot more and make myself feel comfortable with this kit, or I could not force myself, but encourage myself to keep going with it and maybe be a bit more creative. There is a lot of paper in this kit, not really 12 by 12 sheets, but I've got the whole, well, not the whole 6x8 pad, but I've got a lot of paper in the 6x8 pad, and I really want to kill this collection off. So I think I'm just going to have to be quite creative and push myself beyond what I normally create and use a lot more pattern paper. So I'm actually quite excited about that. I have added a few more things, like those puffy hearts. I think from a Valentine's collection, they were in a hip kit. Yeah, pink paisley lucky us, I can see it at the top there. And I've added a few other things as well that are not from this Pebbles collection. And so yeah, like I say, I'm really looking forward to working a bit more with this kit. And at the end of the month, you'll get to see everything that I've made with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else Katie, Jess and Laura are creating, as well as their guests. I think Scraptember is awesome. It's such a good concept, and I love that they've got themes and that we could choose what theme we wanted to as well. And I think it's definitely good having a purpose and pushing yourself, I guess, to stick with your theme. And I think the themes are either, like mine was family. There have been some other ones, like Danny did one yesterday with hexagons, so some are shapes or cut files or whatever. It's not just a certain theme, and I think that's really fun. So yeah, thank you Katie, Jess and Laura for having me. I hope everyone's enjoyed watching this and listening to me share my honest heart about what could be a very difficult memory to scrap, and I hope that I encourage the rest of you to get some more difficult moments into your scrapbooks. So I don't do my journaling on screen because obviously it's a bit difficult, but I just sort of shared a little bit about the peg people and about the extra person in the peg people. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back very, very soon.